Yeah, that tends to be the case with me. So especially when I fall asleep with the air conditioning on.
Well, and it is kind of it's been hot, so I understand that.
Another hot one today. We're looking at about 90, as Bill would say. We're going to be upwards of 90 degrees, and what's his face is going to call us and tell us that we're exaggerating the weather again.
Richard. All right. So you have someone that's in the parking lot too, and I think Davies just brought him in.
Yeah, he's just hanging. He doesn't want to come on the air, but he loves the show.
So he can come in here though. Yeah, but let him give him the head of the table there, Davey.
The head of the table, but he wants to be off camera.
Okay.
He's a little nervous.
I think that's fine. Okay, I want to. So you're here. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a shortened week for us because of the 4th of July holiday. And good morning. How are you? We're going to put you right there. That puts you, for the most part, off camera at the head there, Davey. Okay, so, you are so good because I didn't have one this morning. That's awesome. All right, so what is going on with the Mets?
I don't know. It's brutal.
This is now, I think it's, before this, I'm thinking, wow, there's really nothing to worry about. They're going to turn it around. Do you know they gave up almost, I think, 40 runs this weekend?
Against a team that's not that good.
It wasn't 40. It was 30 runs. They gave 11, 12 runs.
12 yesterday. Was it 9?
9 and 9 the day before.
Yeah, that's 30 runs in 3 games.
Holy moly. I'm beginning to get worried.
Yeah. Mendoza got himself ejected on Saturday, which I do think was just to try to stir up the team. He had a legitimate argument. I mean, it's one pitch. There was a low strike call, and then he felt like the Mets weren't getting the low pitch. He came out, argued, got immediately ejected.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like, I don't want to be here. So I'll go sit in the air conditioning and watch it somewhere else in the locker room.
The Mets were down 3-1 at the time. They did rally to make it 3-2, and then I don't know if it was the 8th inning or the 9th inning. It couldn't have been the 9th. They were in Pittsburgh. 7th or the 8th inning. I don't know, what they give up, 6 runs? 5 runs?
I couldn't even watch. I stopped watching this weekend. This is the first time this season where I've stopped watching and thought about the Buffalo Bills.
12 out of 16 they've lost.
It's just
12 of the last 16.
Horrible. Now, listen, the fact that they had such a good lead puts them in a situation where if they could just start playing right now, they could be okay. But this is... I'm not sure. And it is pitching. And at the same time, there are other issues because they're not hitting the ball.
Yeah.
But it is all pitching. It's just become out of control. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, no, it's a mess.
We had a lot of news over the weekend, some really bad. That was a terrible story of the Oneida County dispatcher, 911 dispatcher, who this is really another tornado-related death. He was cutting trees that had come down because of the tornado, and I don't know if you've ever cut a tree, but sometimes the tree can kick out, and I'm not sure that's what happened in this situation. But you don't realize there is a huge amount of pressure. And you're cutting it, and the minute you reach that one part where the branch or the tree or what have you gives, it is like there's so much pressure it can kick. The other part is it can also, you think you've figured out how this tree is going to come down. If there's also the possibility that it doesn't come down where you think it's coming down.
Right.
So I don't know what the story was. We will, Davey, let's see if we can get Sheriff Mishel just to get an update here this morning. And that maybe right after 7 o'clock. We'll speak with Jonathan Savage this morning, Middle East, the latest on what's going on there between Israel and Gaza and Israel and Iran and us and all of that. Frank Policelli is on today. Interestingly, Frank had told me he was not going to talk until the proceedings were done between former Mayor Brown and Mayor Lanigan. But he's decided to talk, so we'll speak with him this morning on that case. And basically, what he is saying, I believe, is a lot of their concern, and this would be on the civil side. He'd be handling this case on the civil side. So that's telling you maybe there's going to be a lawsuit and it may very well have to do with the press release that went out on that Friday after the incident occurred. Now, if you're not keeping up, and I don't know how you wouldn't be, the former mayor and the current mayor got into a dispute. You really brought this up the other day again, and it was a dispute. And the press release that went out, the statement that went out basically said what, Jeff? Because you had a little issue with what was said.
Well, no, it essentially said that the statement from the mayor's office said that
it was kind of like a Disney statement. I thought it was a Disney statement. The Disney we know that's not like the woman wearing the white sports top and they kicked her out because she wouldn't change her top. It's the Disney where it's a fairy tale type. Where I gently helped him out of into the car and right. But they did mention the fact that he was drunk, inebriated in some way, and I think that Policelli's going to have a problem with the version of the story and some of the things that were said in it.
Right, and that he noticed the level of intoxication and decided to help him to his vehicle, which sounds more like the role of a club bouncer than a mayor.
Well,
and I get it. Sometimes people have disputes. I said this. Remember, there was allegations of a physical dispute at a Utica Common Council meeting. I get it. Sometimes the tempers flare, and sometimes I've said this before, and I know not everybody agrees, but sometimes you can cross a line, and sometimes I think that's appropriate. And maybe I shouldn't say appropriate,
okay.
but
so you say that had the current mayor decked him. Depending on what he said, it might have been okay, depending on what he said.
Well, you can't just say anything.
Well, technically you can, unfortunately, but you're right. I mean, you might say something that may have a consequence.
But it does. It just seems like this was criticism from a media interview that he was upset about. Allegedly.
Well, I think it was beyond that. And I had talked about, I once had a little altercation with Mayor Brown, and he knows how to get under someone's skin. I guess he can do that. So we'll see what Policelli has to say. We'll speak with him coming up in a little while.
You did?
A long time ago, I was doing a piece for Senator Griffo, who was assemblyman, I think, at the time. It was when he was running for senator. It was a long time ago. Well, Brown was mayor, and Brown was mic'd up, and I walked away to get a battery, and he apparently didn't realize that once you're mic'd up, you're mic'd up. I'm wearing headphones. I hear everything you say. So he went up one side of me and down the other without realizing I was hearing it. Let's just say that. So, I understand. People can say things, and you feel like it's you can't walk away, and maybe that's the case here. We'll find out what Policelli has to say about all of it. Ryan Parent is officially the new head coach of the Utica Comets. He took over, last year when they got rid of their longtime coach, and we're having a bit of a rough start. As I bring this up, do you think the Mets? Do you think a skid like this could be cause for a change? There's a lot of money that's been invested in this team.
Yeah, there is, but
this seems worse than just a coaching problem.
Absolutely.
Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. We'll get to him a little later on as well. Jeff does have a guest in studio who does not want to be on the air, but he's observing.
He's observing.
We're being observed. My wife gets observed as a teacher. They grade them and then send that into the state. It might be what's going on here right now, and we don't even realize it. Speaking of being an umpire, sometimes an umpire can be rated to the point where you want to haul off and punch somebody, but you have the luxury of being able to say, you're out of here.
Right. It doesn't always make it all better. Sometimes you still want to smack somebody.
Some things are said that are pretty offensive.
It can be the case.
Yeah.
I heard a great one yesterday. It wasn't directed at me, but I happened to be at a game where I heard someone say, do you want us to start your car for you? I thought that was a great one. Just caught me off guard.
We'll take a quick break. Megan will do an update on the news, and also we were following that case in Deerfield where a child had reported that the child was inappropriately touched by somebody in the park, and I think there might have been a baseball game going on during that at that park in Deerfield. An investigation ensued. You know there are cameras everywhere.
Yep.
There are cameras everywhere, and I'm not sure it was cameras that did this, but police have made an arrest of the alleged person who they say was inappropriately touching a child. That also is in the news, and it's up on our website at WIBX950.com. Megan will have an update on that as well. Coming right up at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 2 firefighters needed to be treated at Wynn Hospital following a fire on Oxford Road in New Hartford. Firefighters said they responded to the residents after 1 o'clock to heavy smoke coming from the building's second floor. Rescuers searched the home and were able to remove 2 cats. No one else was home at the time. One of the cats was able to be saved. Due to the hot temperatures, several firefighters required evaluation from EMS, and 2 were taken to Wynn Hospital. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Syracuse police are asking the public for help as they try to solve a double stabbing. Officers were called to Gifford Street Saturday night and were told a 29-year-old man had arrived at Upstate University Hospital with wounds to his arm and abdomen. A short time later, a woman showed up at the hospital needing treatment for a thigh injury. Both victims are expected to survive, and anyone with information is urged to come forward. New research shows that a potentially deadly fungus dubbed Pharaoh's curse fungus could fight cancer. Scientists from the University of Pennsylvania modified molecules from the fungus to make a new compound with cancer-killing properties. The fungi's official name is Aspergillus flavus and is found in decaying leaves, compost, trees, plants, and some crops. The fungus can cause respiratory issues for those with weakened immune systems or on certain medications. A landscaper in North Carolina is facing legal trouble after allegedly throwing an unauthorized party at his client's mansion. According to the Union County Sheriff's Office, Michael Brown, who owns Brown's Dream Team Landscaping, invited hundreds of guests to the $4.3 million home while the owners were on vacation. The massive party led neighbors to report noise and traffic complaints to police, and upon arrival, officers discovered the party and identified Brown as the organizer. Brown maintains his innocence and faces multiple charges, including breaking and entering, second-degree trespassing, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And even if we don't mean to, most of us will likely take part in today's observation of National Social Media Day. It's something we've grown accustomed to ever since the early days of MySpace and Friendster. Worldwide, it's estimated that upward of 5 billion people use social media. And if you're looking for ideas about what to share on Social Media Day today, keep in mind it's also National Meteor Watch Day, so if you spot one, be sure to let everybody know. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Thunderstorm chances with us here as we kick off the week, especially as we head on through tonight and tomorrow. Should be a pretty good start to the day. Actually pretty comfortable out there this morning. Sunshine and hot this afternoon, 90. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms developing after midnight, 70. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could be some strong storms, low 80s. Sunshine Wednesday, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
I got to tell you, it's going to be hot today, going back up to 90 degrees. Right now, we're sunny and 58, and do I have a story for you? When we almost, I guess, almost burnt down our entire property yesterday. And this is real. This is not and timing is everything. We were on our way to, had we left for the graduation party that I had to go to yesterday, we would have had a major fire. And I was kind of piecing it together, and it would start outside, but I could tell you, I think it would have made its way to my house, and it would have been bad. And I'll explain coming up in a second. And it is the craziest thing, and I have video. So just stand by, and I'm going to post it later today, as a matter of fact. I do want to get an update before we break with the latest with Israel and Gaza and Israel and Iran and whatever role the United States is going to play in all of this. Where do we stand now? Jonathan Savage is always on top of it with Fox News Radio on the line. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How do we start the week off here?
Well, we thought we might be starting the week off with talks between the U.S. and Iran after President Trump last week said they were going to happen. Then Iran said they're not going to happen, and now President Trump agrees that he is not talking to the Iranians. He's not got anything to offer them and doesn't see the point in talking to them, I think. What we do have instead are talks between the United States and Israel. One of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's closest advisors is expected at the White House today. The focus on that talks shifting away from Iran. I think perhaps they feel that issue is settled for now, more towards a ceasefire and hostage release deal for Gaza.
It is so complicated because there, in 1 minute, we think like there's a ceasefire, and it looks like we may be making some progress, and then Iran is defiant when it comes to that. The other part is how much damage was really done. That seems to be the big debate here and around the world. How much damage was done by the bombing of their nuclear facility? And it seems like there was a call that was intercepted by intelligence, either from Israel or the United States, that has Iran saying the damage to their facility was not nearly as bad as they thought it was going to be. How bad was it? What do we really know right now?
Very little for sure, I would say. Yeah, I saw that report of the intercepted Iranian call, which kind of downplayed the impact. Iran has publicly downplayed the impact, and perhaps it's no surprising that they're doing so behind the scenes as well. Perhaps even they wanted that call to be intercepted. It is hard to say, but it's definitely an evolving picture.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a controversy which started last week, you'll remember, when there was a leak from a U.S. intelligence agency which suggested that it's possible the damage was not that bad. The White House, the Pentagon went on the attack. They said that this was a poor interpretation of the report that had a wide range of possibilities, and also it was a very, very early assessment. The White House and the Pentagon insist that the Iranian nuclear program was completely obliterated. But like we say, there are conflicting reports about this, and this is an evolving picture.
Well, the whole thing is an evolving picture, isn't it? Oh, my. Jonathan Savage, as always, thank you so much for the time. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Jonathan Savage with Fox News Radio. All right. My hot story. This is unbelievable. I'm going to tell you something. As a kid, I tried over and over to do this as a kid. And somehow, yesterday, it just happened. Like, I didn't even think it was possible, but somehow yesterday, it just happened. And thank God we were delayed in leaving for a party that we had to go to. Otherwise, I have a feeling there would have been a major, major fire at my house. I'll explain, and I will offer proof and video coming up in a second. Stand by at WIBX.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Come to Seneca and Valley for the best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. Their 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
Start your summer off right at Seneca Wine and Liquor and Valley Wine and Liquor. Stock up on your favorite wines and champagnes with our fantastic 20% off wine case sale. Mix and match your favorites to create your perfect wine case selection. Whether you're hosting a barbecue, relaxing poolside, enjoying a day at the lake, or planning a cozy evening at home, we've got you covered. Hurry, 20% off wine cases is available now through July 30th. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford or Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. Voted #1 8 years in a row.
We're one big family, two great stores, ready to save you more.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 1 free.
Wait, Scott, what did you say?
Jill, it's the buy 2, get 1 free sale, our best sale of the year.
But Scott, it's summer. That's the offer we make in the winter.
Right. Well, I guess that one's on me because I just told the team that this year's Independence sale is buy 2 windows, get 1 free.
So that means customers can buy 4 windows and get 2 free, or 6 windows and get 3 free?
Exactly. There's no end to the savings. And it's easy to take advantage of this offer. Just stop by the New York Sash Idea and Design Center this week. Browse our selection and save.
But it's for a limited time, right, Scott?
That's right. Stop in or call this week, and you'll lock in our most popular offer of the year. Buy 2 windows, get 1 free during the Independence sale at New York Sash.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. And as always, let our family take care of your family.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Yeah. Okay, listen. This morning, Mike says, in regards to the umpires, they should have people that come to observe the parents at these baseball games, not the umpires.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It can be. I haven't had a ton of trouble lately, but it can be sometimes.
So this also, Mike says, and it's going to be interesting to talk with Policelli this morning, the golf incident in Rome was not a city event. So he was not the mayor at the time. However, I think the statement that went out should have been like a skim milk statement. One of those, we regret everything that went down. We're confident the mayor did what he was supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. Well, you want a good release and a good statement leaves the people reading it like, oh, is that all they're going to say? I can't believe it. That's a good statement because you don't want to give someone like Frank Policelli a little crumb that he might be able to turn into a cookie.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but typically you'd want a statement from the mayor's office that didn't leave you hanging because the mayor didn't allegedly do anything wrong. That's number one. Number two is the statement that he wasn't the mayor at the time. It's not like when Trump goes to his golf course, he's not the president anymore. And I know that's a large jump from a mayor of a small city to a president, but you know, he's on duty representing the city all the time.
We will see what the attorney has to say about that. I'm going to talk about something more freely than I ever have. And I think the intention here was, anyway, all right. So I had an event at my house, maybe, I don't know. I'm going way back on this. And we had, remember, what was her name? Suki? She was the singer. We saw her on a cruise, and all of a sudden she was playing in Utica. Selkie. No, it wasn't that either. But it's close.
Silky?
But anyway, she's a phenomenal guitarist and singer. And she was in town, and we said, why don't we do like a backyard? She had a new record coming out, and she was going to be on, and in fact, she was on America's Got Talent or The Voice, one of those shows. So we performed in the back. She performed in the backyard. at our pool, and it was really cool. We had people over. One of the people who was over was sitting there looking around my backyard and said, I feel like your backyard is incomplete. And you know me, that's personal for me because I take that very seriously. I think your backyard is very incomplete. You need something right over there. And he pulls out his phone and he buys me a pergola from Lowe's.
What?
Yes, it was the weirdest thing I've ever had happen to me. He's like, I just bought you this pergola. And he showed me a picture of it. And I'm like, wow, that is so nice of you.
Who is this? We got to get him to my place.
I'll send him over. Anyway, so here's the part that's difficult. I had a busy week, and he said, now you have to pick it up tomorrow. It'll be waiting for you at Lowe's. Yeah, I got to pick up the box, and then you know what you have to do. You got to bring it home, and you got to put it together.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a pergola. And over the years, a windstorm hit, and you know how they have the ones you get at Lowe's? They have that thing on the top that almost looks like it's bamboo, but it's really made of like plasticky whatever.
Yeah.
And it goes over the top as a shade, and it's usually weighted on both sides, and it comes down. That blew away one day and got damaged. So now we have a pergola that's just the metal pergola with nothing on top of it. And when it rains, what happens? Everything gets wet underneath it. And I'm like, I'd love it if that was, because my wife is like, tear that thing down, get rid of it. And I'm like, no, I think I can turn it into something. I've got a great idea. And this is where the problem comes into play. I have a great idea. So I had a roll of heavy-duty plastic. In a camper where the windows of one of those pop-up campers and the windows are made of that heavy-duty plastic. And once it's tight, you can look through it and it almost looks like glass.
Right.
This comes in a roll, and you can buy it. I just happen to have a roll of it, and I thought if I were to put that plastic on top of the pergola, it would take two different rolls of it, cut it perfectly, screw it into the sides. It would prevent any water, and we would have basically a waterproof area underneath.
Right.
You could put cushions under there. You don't have to worry about the rain, what have you. So I do it, and it's perfect. In fact, it did rain, and everything was dry underneath it. So now I got to get one of those, something to shade it, one of those things that we lost to put over top of it, but it'll be waterproof.
Right.
So I am sitting there. This is waiting for her to get ready to go to this graduation party, just sitting there, having a little cocktail, enjoying my Sunday afternoon, and I begin to smell smoke. And I'm like, what in the hell is the neighbor burning now? I can't believe she's burning right now. And I'm smelling more smoke, and I look down, and the smoke is right in front of me. I look further down, and the wooden deck that I created for the pergola is beginning to catch on fire.
And it's like a magnifying glass,
That's
plastic.
exactly what happened. The sun, which if you remember tomorrow, it was yesterday it was cloudy. It really was. The minute the sun came out, it wasn't 5 minutes, and it was burning a hole in the deck under the pergola.
Wow.
Now, it just so happens, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can't even believe it, but here is the video of this. Look at this.
Oh, my goodness, Bill.
It's real, right? I'm not making this crap up. Now, there is a water puddle up there. You see that? And it's the water puddle on top of the plastic. Look how bad it's getting. I had to get a hose.
I cannot believe that.
Had we left, it definitely would, right? It would have definitely.
So you just put that up, that cover, that clear cover?
I just put it up.
It looks really good, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It's really nice.
It's a fire hazard, though, apparently.
It is a fire hazard. Apparently. Or a great hot dog cooker. Mike says, when you use the words, I have a great idea, it makes me nervous. Well, thank you for that, Mike. Can you believe that?
And not only the cover, but you think the water on the top had something to do with it.
The sun was coming down on a very unique-looking circular puddle of water on the top of this. It's just it must be the way that it was reacting to the plastic, and the plastic was hot, and you could see this. You could see it. the ray coming through the puddle and magnifying, and it didn't take 5 minutes, but it was starting the deck on fire.
Wow.
Now, as a kid, we would do this with a magnifying glass, and I could never get it to work. My neighbors, they were a little funky with it. They'd do it to spiders. Apparently, it did hurt the spiders because they seemed to go running when they did that.
Wow.
But I'm telling you this now. Had that deck caught on fire, it's treated lumber, so it's gonna go up.
Yeah,
it would then catch the 4 Adirondack chairs made of wood. It then, once it hits that plastic, and it would catch the plastic on fire. That would go over to the umbrella that's next to it, which is next to the wooden fence, which is connected to the house. Now, I don't know that we get all the way there, but it would have been a bad scenario had we left.
Well, and it certainly could. Any kind of breeze, too, will just carry that fire to whatever the next thing is.
Yeah. So we caught it, and what I ended up doing was putting, we clamped. Sorry, Davey, I missed my time. It's going to be one of those days. We put like a curtain over top of it and clamped it just to stop the sunlight from hitting the plastic.
You got to take that off now, though.
Well, no, I'm going to put something on top of it to prevent it. It'll still work. It's still going to work. You just can't allow it to be exposed to the sunlight. There's got to be something over top of it.
Okay.
And that's what
you
I'm
want to
going
burn
to
your
try to
house
do.
down. You go
That's
right
what I'm
ahead.
going to try to do. But I'll post it later on, and it just shows you how in the woods. I mean, we've heard Sheriff Mishel talk about this. Well, we think that fire might have been started by a glass bottle that was thrown in the woods, and it ended up serving as a. And I just didn't believe that could ever happen. But how quickly it happened is, I think, the big surprise for me. Really amazing. Okay, coming up, we'll speak with Frank Policelli next hour in the case of the mayors, and we'll see where he's going with this. And you know, the question is, at the end of the day, this really was two people arguing, and maybe there was a hand at one point. I think he may have grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him back as the two were arguing. But is this really worth continuing and turning into something really, really big, like suing the city? We'll speak with Frank Policelli about all of that coming up in just a bit. News is coming up next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
He set a fire, then opened fire. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and this was a call for help in Idaho.
I need law enforcement up here immediately. We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Corps Lane firefighters are down.
And he was hunkered down as he made that call, as the sniper kept coming with the fire, and firefighters still had to battle the flames that grew when the fire still burns.
Police confirming the suspect intentionally started a brush fire in order to lure first responders to a northern Idaho mountain community where the shooting began. 2 firefighters confirmed dead, while another is in stable condition after being released from surgery overnight. The suspected gunman, whose name has yet to be released, was found in a wooded area with a weapon nearby. His body hours after that shooting.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. Now to the Senate.
Republicans are about to pass the single most expensive bill in U.S. history.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and all other Democrats oppose President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill, saying it'll take away health coverage and food assistance from millions of people. One Republican agrees, worried the new work requirements will take people who are eligible from Medicaid.
I'm telling the president that you have been misinformed.
That's GOP Senator Tom Tillis, who announced he won't run for re-election after the president threatened to help primary Tillis out of office next year.
I would retire, too, if I voted against this bill.
Republican Senator Jim Banks tells Fox
the working-class families of this country are counting on this bill.
Because the bill extends the 2017 Trump tax cuts set to expire at the end of the year. In 2 hours, the Senate will start voting on a series of amendments. More than 2 weeks after U.S. airstrikes that President Trump insists obliterated Iran's nuclear program, the UN's atomic watchdog says Iran may resume enriching uranium fuel within months.
Iran's deputy foreign minister says the United States must rule out any more attacks on Iran if it wants a return to diplomacy, while President Trump has posted on Truth Social that he's not talking to the Iranians.
That's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, "No, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out." It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
Countries negotiating trade deals with the U.S. don't have a lot more time. President Trump says he is not planning to extend a 90-day freeze on tariffs on many countries' imports beyond July 9th. There's a chance Canada may avoid more of those tariffs because of this.
The Department of Finance Canada announced that the country will rescind its digital services tax on U.S. tech companies in an effort to advance trade negotiations with the U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Trump spoke by phone Sunday as Carney agreed to resume negotiations. The tax had been slated to go into effect today. President Trump called off negotiations with Canada Friday after they refused to extend the tax for another month. The digital services tax would have hit companies like Amazon, Google, and Meta, among others, with a 3% levy on revenue from Canadian users. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising up more than 200 points for the Dow, more than 100 for the NASDAQ. It and the S&P 500 closed at record highs Friday. They could keep rising on the last trading day of what has been a positive month here in June. It's strawberries and cream time in England as Wimbledon gets underway on the famed grass courts this morning. Tennis's third Grand Slam tournament of the year.
22-year-old Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz will try to join Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Pete Sampras, and Bjorn Borg as the only men to win Wimbledon 3 years in a row. Each of the last 2 years at the All-England Club, Alcaraz defeated Djokovic in the final. Djokovic remains at 24 career Grand Slams, tied with Margaret Court for the most in tennis history. Alcaraz is favored to win. World number 1 ranked Jannik Sinner, the second choice, and Djokovic third. A strong favorite to win the women's championship, Aryna Sabalenka, who lost the French Open final to American Coco Gauff in early June. Jared Max, Fox News.
Something else also starts today, NBA free agency, allowing some players to sign with new teams. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. Right now, 60 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is grieving the death of one of their own. According to Sheriff Rob Mishel, deputies were called to Gillette Road in the town of Western around 9:30 Saturday morning for reports of a traumatic injury. Authorities say 27-year-old Tanner Alfault had been cutting down trees when one fell and struck him. He was taken to Rome Health and later succumbed to his injuries. Tanner was a dispatcher for the Oneida County Emergency Services. An arrest has been made in connection with the incident at Deerfield Wilderness Park involving a child. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office said they arrested 30-year-old Anthony Getty of Deerfield, saying he subjected a child under the age of 11 to sexual contact at the park earlier this month. The child had been playing at the park. Getty was arrested at his home and was charged with sexual abuse in the first degree, which is a Class D felony, and endangering the welfare of a child. He was held at Oneida County Jail on $15,000 bond. The child was offered an order of protection as well as services from the Child Advocacy Center. The record-breaking heat wave that hit the eastern half of the U.S. is setting the stage for severe storms in the upper Midwest and parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Forecasters say the storms will feed off the lingering hot and humid air in the central and eastern parts of the country. The Storm Prediction Center said today all severe hazards are possible across southern Minnesota and eastern South Dakota as scattered severe thunderstorms settle above the region. In the afternoon and evening, storms are expected to develop in parts of Pennsylvania and New York. The center says wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are possible. And New York City fire marshals have arrested a Long Island man for possession of illegal fireworks following a raid at a Brooklyn business. More than 1,000 illegal fireworks with an estimated retail value of $250,000 were seized at Everbright Trading Company on Flushing Avenue. They include aerial cake-style rockets, handheld Roman candles, and large sparkling devices, which, like all consumer fireworks, are illegal in New York City. The store manager, 42-year-old Asen Pan, was taken into custody. He's charged with weapons possession, reckless endangerment, and other offenses. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Thunderstorm chances with us here as we kick off the week, especially as we head on through tonight and tomorrow. Should be a pretty good start to the day. Actually pretty comfortable out there this morning. Sunshine and hot this afternoon, 90. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms developing after midnight, 70. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could be some strong storms, low 80s. Sunshine Wednesday, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, 60 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Let's take a look at sports. The NBA offseason is about to heat up. NBA free agency beginning tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. Players and teams will start agreeing to terms of a contract. Some of the top free agents this summer include Miles Turner, Jonathan Kuminga, Al Horford, and Chris Paul. There are moves that have happened over the past week, and they're beginning to shape the market, with LeBron James exercising his player option. James Harden and Kyrie Irving both agreeing to new deals with the Clippers and Mavs. New contracts cannot be signed until July 6th. Islanders made 8 picks in the 2025 NHL Draft, opened the draft by taking defenseman Matthew Schaefer. They have the number 1 pick. They also took 5 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goaltender. Meanwhile, the Rangers had 8 picks in the draft. They took forward Malcolm Spence, who was the 43rd overall pick. The Blue Shirts also took 3 forwards and 5 defensemen. The Mets, they're unable to keep things up. They were swept by the Pirates, dropping their finale 12-1 in Pittsburgh. Frankie Montas was tagged with the loss after allowing 6 runs on 7 hits and walks. New York hopes to snap its 3-game skid. It hosts the Brewers for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow. The Yankees, they came out on top, blew out the A's 12-5 in their series finale from the Bronx. Aaron Judge went deep with a pair of home runs. He now has 30 on the season. New York leads the AL East after winning 3 of its last 4. They visit the Toronto Blue Jays for a 4-game set beginning tonight. Aldrich Potgieter is celebrating his first career tour victory after winning the Rocket Classic at the Detroit Golf Club. Potgieter took down Max Gracerman and Chris Kirk in a 5-hole playoff after all 3 players finished tied atop the leaderboard at 22 under par. The 20-year-old is the 7th youngest tour winner since 1983. Defending champion Cam Davis failed to make the cut. Chase Elliott is celebrating a NASCAR Cup Series victory at Echo Park Speedway. The driver of the number 9 car led a total of 41 laps. On the way to Victory Lane in the Quaker State 400, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, and Eric Jones rounded out the top 5 in the first round of the inaugural in-season challenge. The field heads to the streets of Chicago on Sunday for the Grant Park 165. That'll mark the second race of the in-season challenge. And the WNBA has announced the captains for this year's All-Star Game. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark and Minnesota Lynx forward Nafisa Collier are the top 2 vote getters in fan voting. Clark led all players with over 1.2 million votes, while Collier received 1.1 million votes. The other 8 starters will be announced Monday night. Team Clark will take on Team Collier in Indianapolis on July 19th. Your WIBX News Time, 7:11, 60 degrees under mostly sunny skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
We'll get an update from Sheriff Rob Mishel on quite a few stories over the weekend. A lot has happened. And, of course, that tragic story of the dispatcher who was cutting down trees and lost his life on Saturday morning. We'll speak with Sheriff Mishel coming up in a second. Also, on the Rome mayor and, I guess, mayor's situation, past and present, Frank Policelli is the attorney that is representing Jim Brown. And he's talking. We'll see what Frank has to say coming up this morning. Also, Habaika's free money question of the day Davey, are you in there? What are you thinking today?
$200.
Oh, starting out. You know it is a short week, so
Yes.
$200. We'll do that coming up around 7:35 at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
No store in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express, and our 4th of July sales are on. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado. You heard me right. And after purchase, if you see it advertised less within 90 days, bring it to our attention. We refund the difference. If all that weren't enough, take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. And we have no credit check payment plans. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Hurry, the 4th of July sales are on.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Scott and Jill here from New York Sash. Business is booming, and we need more hands on deck.
That's right. We're looking for experienced installers, windows, siding, baths. If you know your way around a job site, we want to hear from you.
At New York Sash, we take pride in every project we complete because quality craftsmanship is what we're known for, and that's all thanks to our incredible team.
And when you're part of our team, you're family. That means great pay, steady year-round work, and a company that treats you right.
We offer serious perks like company-provided tools, uniforms, continuing education, paid time off, and 401k.
And that's on top of health benefits, advancement opportunities, and a supportive environment where you and your skills are valued.
Ready to take your career to the next level? Stop in or apply online at newyorksash.com/jobs.
Our New York Sash team has over 750 five-star reviews. It's more than a job. It's a career you can be proud of. Join the installation team at New York Sash.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
good morning. Good morning, Davey. What did you do over the weekend? I other than signing, probably autographs and stuff with the award and taking pictures with your award. Manaski, he received 2 awards last week.
What was the second one?
Well, you got what did you get, Davey?
I got the Les Devin Media Award, and then last Tuesday, my name went into the honorable mention on the park across from the Polish Community Club. They have a park dedicated for all the winners. I got a brick.
Oh, I did know about the brick.
Have you gotten a brick?
I don't have a brick.
Have you gotten the Les Devin Award?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I say congratulations, Uncle Smitty. You did a good job.
Because you had done the Boilermaker for how many years?
Yeah, a lot of years.
And then even announcing at the Boilermaker finish line.
That's correct.
And then one time covered because I was going to be away on the stage.
Are you trying to make this an issue?
I think that I feel like you're like who hasn't been elected into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame but should be, right? It's
thank you.
Things.
I appreciate that.
No, I'm thinking that you may somebody needs to drop your name. Davey, being an award winner, you could.
What did the brick say?
Davey is the best. I'm pretty sure.
It said right here.
Oh, he's got the brick.
2025 winner, David Davey Smith.
I was wondering if they put in David or Davey. They put both, huh?
Yes.
Davey is in quotes, right? I think they have. Yeah, it's very nice. Congratulations.
So what I did for the weekend, nothing. I laid low.
Laid low as an award winner, right?
I went to the Floyd Field Days if anything is exciting. I went to the Floyd Field Days yesterday, and I watched the parade on Saturday.
Very nice.
So I didn't really do anything.
I will say that you answer that phone. I will say that when we were over at Boulevard Diner on Friday, we were broadcasting live with Griffo. And Griffo, Alex came in from Griffo's staff, and Davey's like, it's been a busy week. I got an award for the Les Devin, then I got another award. It's just been so hard to keep up. It has, right?
Well deserved, Smitty.
All of these events, how much can you handle?
So real quick, I went up to the Floyd Field Days yesterday. I walked up because it's in walking distance from my house. I figured I'd take a walk instead of getting in my car.
Kind of like a parade.
Well, Jeff, you know where I live. It's up from the distance from the firehouse.
Not far at all.
Yeah. So I went up and everybody that in town, congratulations, Davey, congratulations. I had people on the parade route saying, hey, congratulations.
That's great, Smitty.
It's not going to my head. As someone said, as a good friend said, don't let this go to your head.
Yeah.
It's never going to go to my head.
No.
Know, and she knows me better than that. It will never go to my head.
It'll never. No, I know that. I know that. It seems like it has, but it hasn't.
No, it hasn't.
No, that's what I think. You got to look at it that way. While it might seem that way, it's not. And I think you got to stay focused on that.
And 2 Fridays ago, I went over to watch the Little River Band at Vernon Downs. I had people coming up that watched the show. I had no clue who these people were. Congratulations, Davey. We saw you on the news.
Yeah. The Little River Band actually customized a song about Davey. It was something about cool change or something. And so, again, I want to repeat, it is not, I repeat, not gone to his head. Sheriff Rob Mishel on the line right now. Good morning, Sheriff.
Sounds like it's gone to his head.
You think? I'm kidding, Smitty.
Oh, we're joking.
I'm one of the guys who congratulated him in the parade route. Davey was watching us in the parade at the Floyd Field Days. But congratulations again, Davey.
Well, it is a listen, and you know what? It's nice to have somebody like Davey who has worked behind the scenes for the most part,
right?
And as opposed to the rest of us that are out there in front, oftentimes we forget about those people that are behind the scenes. Okay, Sheriff, I'm going to throw a few things out there. Obviously, a busy weekend and a tragic one. Let's start with the tragedy on Saturday morning.
Yes, very tragic incident Saturday morning. Just like I said, when you think that things can't get any worse, but an individual who is a 911 dispatcher and has been for a few years, great kid. I've known him. He actually lives not very far from me, but he was cutting trees down on his property, and one of the trees had fallen and struck him. There were people close by to him when it happened, and CPR and life-saving efforts were immediately started. 911 was called, and that's, like I said, that makes it that much more difficult. The 911 dispatchers are taking a call for someone, one of their own in need. But Western Fire and Amcare ambulance responded, and he was transported to the hospital. And unfortunately, he died as a result of his injuries of the being struck by the fallen tree. It's a very tragic thing.
We were talking earlier about, because I think we've all cut some sort of a tree down or branches or something. Sometimes you don't realize there's pressure on that tree, that it could kick out. Or the other part of this is you just don't know. Sometimes the wind's blowing. You don't know how that tree is going to come down.
Exactly, and again, this was someone who was familiar with cutting trees, but again, we don't know exactly what happened, and not sure if we will figure that out. But just a very sad day for the family. Like I said, super family. This is a kid that a total stranger could call him in need of help, and he'd be the first one there. And like I said, this is a person who has been for the past couple of years dedicated to being. Although not on the front lines, but dispatchers are technically on the front lines. They're taking that first call. They're sending the right stuff to help people. They're, providing the proper backup for law enforcement, all that stuff. So definitely will be greatly missed, and a very sad day for the community, and certainly a very sad day for Oneida County.
Technically, it becomes yet another fatality surrounding the tornado.
Yes, indirectly, this would be the fourth from that awful round of storms that we dealt with. And yesterday was an incredible reminder of that. The calling hours for the 2 6-year-old girls was in the village yesterday. Just a very emotional day for a lot of folks, and that aspect of things.
On another note, another story, of course, was the Deerfield Park, where I think there might have been a baseball game going on. As whatever was happening there was a report of a child who had been touched inappropriately, and it turns out after an investigation, you guys were able to make an arrest.
Yes, hats off to the Oneida County Child Abuse, the Oneida County Child Advocacy Center. They did not give up on this case for 1 second. It's been a top priority for them. I know the folks in Deerfield were very concerned with this happening. It was during a softball game, and individual was able to lure the little boy away from everybody, did subject him to sexual contact, and luckily the young boy was able to get away. Like I said, an incredible investigation by the Child Advocacy Center and the District Attorney's Office together. They made an arrest. And the frustrating part for us, this individual back in 2016, I'm trying to look really quick in my notes here, but in 2016 had been charged by the Child Advocacy Center for a very similar incident and had done time. And again, sadly, it was a repeat. It happened again. Wow. And just very concerning when you see this. This is a person who, was also a registered offender. Just a case of, like I said, this is an individual who shouldn't have been in a position to be near children. But unfortunately, our system, and I know we get frustrated and we talk about that a lot. It's frustrating because, once again, it was 2016 when he was charged with 1 count of sexual abuse in the second degree and relating to a couple of victims who were both 12 and 13 years old back in 2016. And if you could look that release up, actually there was a media story on it back in 2016. So
now was he registered? Because I looked up the registry and I could not find his name on the registry.
I was told that he was. I did not verify that, but like I said, in one of the briefings I had on the case, I was told that he was a registered sex offender.
Okay, all right.
I see in the charges here it says first-degree sexual abuse, a D-level felony, and endangering the welfare of a child. Could there be or should there be an additional charge? Because if he was an offender, he's not even allowed to be at the park, is he?
It depends on the level of registry. And again, that may be the reason you're not seeing him, Bill. I don't know if he was a level 1. If he was a level 1, you're probably not going to find him.
Not going to show up there. Yep.
That is correct. He definitely was not a level 3, so he's either a 1 or a 2. There very well may be some additional charges, so that's a story you might want to keep your eyes on just as it develops.
So how old is he now?
30.
Okay,
Yep.
so that would have put him somewhere around the age of 20 when
21. The last 21
Okay,
the last
yep.
time that we charged him. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Well, listen, and we all, people are always trying to make the through Albany, trying to make things better, and right now it does seem like we're focused on the wrongs that are being committed to those who are the inmates or the suspects or what have you. But I feel like when it comes to sexual crimes, if you look at the statutes in New York State and the penalties in New York State, and it's been this way for quite some time, whether it be rape or sexual contact with a child, our laws are very weak, I feel.
Oh my God, yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation for years.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the people in control downstate, I don't know, Bill. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for some of these people to wake up and say, and again, I'm all about assisting folks and trying to rehabilitate folks, but there are some instances and situations where that's just not going to happen. And some people will always be a concern or threat to those out in society. So, we have to be aware of that. And like I said, it gets very frustrating for law enforcement because, this is a case where, obviously the individual's off the street, but if he posts $15,000 bail while this is pending, he's going to be back out on the street. That's another concern. It's a vicious circle that we've been dealing with, as you know, for a very long time.
Well, there's a case of one that I know that we had some personal connection to, where the woman was out at Sylvan Beach. There was a guy that was stalking her. When she came out to her car, he attacked her. Was attempting to take her and rape her. That became an attempted rape, and I think he only got a couple years. And if it wasn't for her being able to fight him off, imagine what would have happened in that case.
Exactly, and I'm not surprised that like I said, we see that time and time again. And I really think, well, I mean, we try to stay optimistic that someday someone's going to wake up and say, look, we got to do business differently here in New York. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Sheriff, it's been once again a tough week. You've had a few of these that have been very difficult.
Yeah, definitely a difficult week. And then the other case, and I just want to give hats off to the deputies that worked on it. Again, a case they didn't stop with. We had the abandoned dog on Whitaker Road in the town of Trenton. The dog was abandoned and was found to be suffering from severe dehydration. Definitely needed urgent medical care. It was left without food, water, shelter, everything. Again, the deputies didn't stop on that one, and they charged an individual out of Utica for abandoning his dog. He was charged with 2 misdemeanors, abandoning the animal and not feeding the animal. And I just want to give hats off again to the deputies who worked that case, along with the Rome Humane Society, who didn't stop, the dog animal control officer in Deerfield, Anita Stevens Swan Humane Society, and, of course, the Good Samaritans who stopped when the original call came in. And just another thing we continue to deal with is animal abuse.
Yeah. Okay, Sheriff, we appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Have a good day. Take care.
Do the same. Sheriff Rob Mishel. News coming up next. And then Hobeika's free money question of the day. It is worth $200 on this final day of June. It is coming up in about 7 minutes at WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and servicing Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is grieving the death of one of their own. According to Sheriff Rob Mishel, deputies were called to Gillette Road in the town of Western around 9:30 Saturday morning for reports of a traumatic injury. Authorities say 27-year-old Tyner Ofalt had been cutting down trees when one fell and struck Tanner. He was rushed to Rome Health, where he later succumbed to his injuries. He was a dispatcher for the Oneida County Emergency Services. A woman was arrested on menacing charges for allegedly threatening another woman with a golf club. Utica police said they were called to the 100 block of South Street on June 25th and spoke with a victim who claimed an unknown woman began arguing with her and swinging a golf club at her. The victim provided a description of the suspect, and they were identified as 41-year-old Gabrielle Camp, who had no known address. Camp was arrested, and police upgraded her charges to felony counts upon learning she had a previous menacing conviction. She was charged with first-degree menacing and criminal possession of a weapon. It's one of the busiest travel weeks of the year, and Central New York drivers are seeing steady prices at the pump. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel right now in the Utica-Rome area is $3.25, which is 2 cents down from last week, but 4 cents up from this time a month ago. The best prices in Central New York are in Herkimer County, which is averaging $3.10 a gallon. It's estimated over 72 million folks will hit the road during the next several days. The state average for fuel is $3.21, and nationally it's $3.18. President Trump has a warning for whoever becomes New York City's next mayor. Socialist Zoran Mamandi is now the likely favorite to win the general election in November after former Governor Andrew Cuomo conceded the Democratic primary. Trump told Fox News whoever becomes mayor had better behave themselves or the federal government will come down on them financially. Trump says he's staying out of endorsing anyone for now. And a Florida beachgoer is credited with making an unexpected discovery. The Walton County Sheriff's Office announced yesterday that someone found more than $500,000 worth of cocaine that washed up on the beach. Deputies say there were 25 bricks. They were confiscated and logged into evidence. Your Weather Center forecast is coming up next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Thunderstorm chances with us here as we kick off the week, especially as we head on through tonight and tomorrow. Should be a pretty good start to the day. Actually pretty comfortable out there this morning. Sunshine and hot this afternoon, 90. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms developing after midnight, 70. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could be some strong storms, low 80s. Sunshine Wednesday, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, currently we have plenty of sunshine, and have we cracked 60? We have 62 degrees, heading to 90 today. All right, Davey, we'll do Hobica's free money question of the day this morning. It's worth $200. And then Frank Policelli will speak with Frank on the Rome mayor's situation. You're looking for caller number what this morning?
Caller 5.
All right. 5 for the number of awards you've received.
No, it would have been 2.
Oh, it would have been 2. All right. Well, we'll go with 5. I like 5. Caller.
He's gotten awards before, though, right? You've earned awards
You probably
before.
got an award. I know you got an award here. You were like Employee of the Year of the Month once here.
Yeah.
That's 3.
Well, actually, yeah. And plus, I'm an Eagle Scout. That's the highest.
You're an Eagle Scout, 4.
And plus, I got a few awards from school.
And you got some awards from school. There you go. 5 awards. Caller number 5. 315-736-0186. We'll do it next. It's worth $200 from Hobica and WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and it is worth $200 here this morning from the Hobica Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobica. In fact, I think Joe Hobica will be in later in the week. He'll be in studio. The Hobica Law Firm, for all of your legal needs, call 315-724-1600 is the number to call if you're in need of any legal assistance. John is in Utica, ready to take a shot at Hobica's free money question. John, good morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. Short week, though. We've got 4th of July coming up. Looks like some sunshine. Maybe not all that bad.
Same amount of work, just less days to do it in.
That's a very good point. Right, you just don't have the time you normally would have. All right, well, listen, this is worth $200. You pull it out, you get the money from Hobica, and you'll have 7 seconds to answer. Here we go with your question. And today it's in the category of baseball. Here's the question. How many years ago did Major League Baseball institute instant replay? How many years ago? Ready, go.
9.
Was it 9 years ago? All right, we have a couple of baseball people here in the room. Manaski, how many years ago did Major League Baseball institute instant replay?
I have no idea. I'm going to say it's way more than I think.
It is
22 years.
Good guess. You want to take a shot at that? Any idea? About 20. The answer is 17. There was some partial testing going on, but it was instituted in 2008. It has been that long. I'm not sure if I'm more surprised that it's been 17 years or it's been 17 years since 2008. Right?
That's a good point.
Man, time is flying. All right, we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card, good at Aquavino and Babes, Nexus, 72 Tavern and Grill, the Adirondack Bank Center. Stand by, John. Davey's going to take care of you over there.
All right, thanks.
And, John, be sure to congratulate him on his awards.
I will do that.
Okay, all right. Stand by. Davey, he is all yours, all right?
I know we're going right to Frank, but I just want to say there has to be some changes to the instant replay rules because you see this time and again where the call should be overturned and it's not. Right? I mean, I think Aaron Boone had a legitimate gripe a couple times in the past month or so.
I'm not sure. I've seen a couple of calls where I'm trying to say, listen, they're sitting in New York. They're looking at this. They're going over and over. There's got to be a reason that I don't know why they didn't overturn this call. And I can't seem to figure it out. I watched it was Buffalo, Syracuse, minor league baseball on SNY the other day. Syracuse Mets and the Buffalo, it's Toronto. They're affiliated with Toronto.
They're the Buffalo Bisons.
The Bisons. Thank you, Davey. Anyway, they're using the computerized strike zone. It's very interesting to watch.
For every pitch?
For every pitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think it's there, and I think you can, whatever the rule is, I think you can ask for a chance. You can challenge the call. Is what it is.
Okay, right.
And that's what they're testing.
Yes.
So you can challenge balls and strikes. It is really, and I saw it happen during the game. It's very interesting to watch.
Was the umpire correct?
The umpire was wrong.
Oh, he was wrong.
Yeah, in that case. Very interesting. You know who's never wrong? Just ask him. Frank Policelli. There he is now. Good morning, Frank. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Do you know anything about the instant replay rule in baseball?
A little bit.
How about what they're doing in minor league? It's a challenge situation, right? You can challenge the strike. And by the way, they come back very quickly with an answer.
Yeah,
it's not
real
slow.
quick. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like it, but then again, I always like the old-fashioned rules where the umpire's never wrong. You know.
Right.
I like those rules too.
That's right. But listen. You lose credibility with me when it comes to baseball. Every time I remember, you're such an rabid Yankees fan. So, I just find
one day I like them, the other day I hate them. One day I want to see Booth fired, and then I get on Judge, and then he gets 2 home runs the next day. Their pitching is great for some periods of time, then their bullpen falls off the calendar. So you'll find out, the season starts in September, I guess.
Boy, it feels that way as a Mets fan right now. Holy moly, I'm a little nervous.
Their pitching's falling apart.
Falling to pieces. And they have, who do they have this week? I know the Yankees starting on Thursday.
They have the Brewers this week, Bill.
Brewers this week, and then the Yankees Mets this weekend. So pretty excited. Okay, Frank, good morning. Good morning. And let's talk about the Rome mayor's case.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to talk about it until I felt that the necessity to. He was getting hammered in the media, and it wasn't fair. So I want to level the playing field here. Okay.
So you're saying Brown was getting hammered?
Yes.
Oh, we shouldn't say that because that sounds like alcohol related. Brown was getting hammered, right? So you're saying he was getting beaten up in the media.
Yeah, he was getting beaten up in the media, and he got beaten up at Tayujica too. So take it any way you want.
Well, but did he though? Did he? You saw the video? Did he get beaten up?
Yes.
You feel he did?
Well, he had his injuries. He went to the hospital, and by the way, he went to the hospital. There's no evidence. When you go to the hospital, they're going to know if you're intoxicated or not. He wasn't intoxicated, but that's completely irrelevant. This guy, Lanigan, sneaks up from behind on Mayor Brown or Jim Brown. He grabs him from behind. He turns him around. He slams him up against the car and he throws him in the car. And then in this, one of your callers says, well, there wasn't Tayujica. He wasn't acting as the mayor. He absolutely was acting as the mayor because the reason why he did that was to retaliate for the statement that Brown made when he was on the radio Monday criticizing Lanigan. And Lanigan even admits that in his public statement that he gave for immediate release from the Rome's mayor's office, where they say Mayor Lanigan issued the following statement. And then he says, I am disappointed in Mr. Brown's recent public outburst. So in other words, he calls free speech an outburst, okay? And then so he says, as a former mayor and former mayor and friend, I assumed I could speak to him in a respectful manner. So let me see if I got this right. A respectful manner is coming up from behind somebody, putting your hands on his shoulder, turning him around, and slamming him into a car, okay? And then he has this cop talk up. I escorted him into his vehicle for his own safety because he was intoxicated. Well, what do you mean he for his own safety? His own safety was because of him. So he says he escorted him into the passenger side. Give me a break.
So you, when you say he slammed him into the car, I was told by someone who I feel is independent, who saw the video, said he was put in the car like a police officer would put someone in the car.
That person's not telling the truth then.
You know.
Well, but Frank,
are you saying, Frank, you've seen the video?
Yes.
And you're saying he slammed him into the metal of the car.
The top of the passenger door is where he hits his arm that becomes bleeding and bruised.
Okay.
And then he puts him in the car.
But let me just say this too, Frank. Even if he put him in because he's a former police officer in that manner, who am I to go over and say, Bill, I think you've had too many to drink and stuff you in a car?
Okay, so
I can't put my hands on you anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
You're injecting opinion into this.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
He had no business putting his hands on him. He's not a cop. He's a mayor.
Well,
he had no reason. He went up to him. Mayor Jim Brown wasn't doing anything wrong to anybody. He was standing in the rear of the car talking to somebody in the parking lot. Lanigan runs up behind him and grabs him.
Are you saying that they didn't have any conversation inside the club prior to that?
No.
Okay. And you believe, because I believe that someone had, and maybe I read it in the statement or somebody had said this to me, that they feel the injury might have come afterwards, that the bleeding, that the pictures were shown of him bleeding, couldn't have happened when he was put into the car. I'm assuming you absolutely disagree with that.
Of course I disagree with it. He says, Lanigan says in his statement that it's unclear how his alleged injury occurred. But, I mean, he got into the car and his arm was bleeding and he was bruised, okay? He went to the Rome hospital to be treated. So, where did it happen? How did it happen if it didn't happen like that? That's ridiculous.
Frank, can I ask as well? I believe I read that you were looking at state and federal allegations in this potential civil suit. So explain the difference between the two.
Well, there's no difference. What happens is this: whenever you have somebody who's acting under color of state law from a municipality, like the mayor who sets the policy and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's acting under color of state law, so you file what's called the notice of claim against the municipality, and they could adjust the claim and settle the claim, and if they don't, then you could bring a lawsuit in federal court alleging federal violations under what's called Section 1983, and any state court claims could go under what's called pendant jurisdiction or supplemental jurisdiction with your federal claims in federal court. So you bring a federal action alleging all your federal constitutional claims for excessive force, retaliation, defamation in state court, assault, battery, stigmatization. You bring all those actions in a federal lawsuit.
So you feel this, I think we should be clear, you're not representing him necessarily as part of he was a victim and there's a harassment charge. You're representing him for a potential claim against the city. Is that all you would you would just sue the city? You wouldn't sue Lanigan personally or the club?
No, I wouldn't sue the club. I would sue Lanigan personally as individually acting outside of his scope of employment in the city, binding the city under color of state laws. You sue them both. You sue Lanigan and you sue the city of Rome. And, you ask for punitives. You can't get punitives against the municipality, but you can get punitives against the individual actor. What else was I going to say? As far as the criminal case is concerned, I've got nothing to do with that. That's up to the district attorney.
Well, and the DA in Herkimer County looked at it and felt there was enough to charge harassment, which is in New York State right now will not get you all that much. We don't. Right?
What do you mean not get you that much? What are you talking about?
Well, what would happen to the average person if they were charged with harassment? In this case,
they could go to jail. First of all, harassment is a violation of the penal law. Okay.
Okay.
It's a violation of the penal law, so you could go to jail for 15 days. You could pay a fine of $250 in restitution. So probably they'll work out the criminal case in Rome City Court with whoever the judge is that comes in from Oswego.
Well, that'll be so the judge it won't be in Oswego. It'll be in Rome with the judge from Oswego. Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, and then what are people going to see? Because the video, there are several agencies I know that have foiled for the video, and at some point, I'm assuming the video will be released and the public is going to get to see the video. And you have seen the video. I say that with a question mark.
Absolutely.
And what are people going to see? Describe what you've seen on the video.
You're going to see Jim Brown in the parking lot of Tayuchika Country Club standing on the passenger side of a vehicle at the rear of the vehicle, facing somebody else in the parking lot, talking to him. You'll see Mayor Lanigan approach him from behind, go up to him while his back is to Lanigan. Lanigan puts his hands on his shoulders. He turns him around, pins him against the car, takes him from the rear of the car to the front of the car, slams his arm at the top of the passenger side door, and then throws him into the vehicle.
Wow. And that's all the video that they have in that the DA's office had.
That's all he needs.
And I have somebody asking here, weren't there text messages between the two prior to the confrontation?
Yes. On Monday afternoon, Lanigan sent a text message at 4:52 on Monday, which is the day that he went on the other radio station in the area here, where he criticized Mayor Lanigan, where Lanigan tells him, "Where are you at, Jim? My bad. It's past noon. You're probably drunk. We'll run into each other at some point." That's the text message he sends him.
And
weren't there others, though? Weren't there others that were from a different number? Or
there was other text messages, but at this point, I can't prove who sent them.
Okay.
And whether they were communicated to Brown.
Okay.
No, I was going to ask about the extent of the communication, but I guess that covers
all right.
it.
Okay, so you're basically in a wait-and-see mode at this point, waiting to see what happens on the criminal side of this.
Well, I'm going to, I'll see what happens on the criminal side of it, but that's got nothing to do with my preparing the notice of claim. I got 90 days to file my notice of claim from the date that this incident occurred. So I got to put that in my calendar, and we'll proceed from there.
Okay. And you will be filing a notice of claim. I can't imagine you wouldn't.
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Policelli, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Good to hear from you, Frank.
Okay. All right. Nice talking to you, too.
Have a great day. Quick break. We'll talk about this on the other side. Let me break here first.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
It was an ambush, but why? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They're trying to figure that out in Idaho.
2 Corps 9 firefighters are down. I'm pinned down behind Battalion 1's rig. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
He made that call for help yesterday afternoon as the sniper fire continued in the Canfield Mountain area. The flames kept spreading, and hours later, police found a man dead next to a gun.
Based on the preliminary information, we believe that is the only shooter that was on that mountain at that time.
Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris, in addition to the 2 firefighters shot dead, another was wounded and is stable after surgery. In an hour, the Senate begins what's called a vote-a-rama, considering final amendments to President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill. Republican Senator Jim Banks tells Fox it's
the biggest tax cut for working-class families in American history and the biggest spending cut that Congress has ever passed.
But a few in the GOP oppose the bill, including Senator Tom Tillis, who worries new Medicaid work requirements
will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid.
Joining all Democrats who oppose the bill, saying millions of people will lose health coverage and food assistance. Now, Tillis' opposition led President Trump to threaten to primary him out of office next year, calling him a complainer, not a doer, prompting the senator to announce he won't run for re-election in North Carolina.
Tillis issued a statement saying, in Washington over the last few years, it's become increasingly evident that leaders who are willing to embrace bipartisanship, compromise, and demonstrate independent thinking are becoming an endangered species.
That's Fox's Jill Nato. Trade talks resumed today between the U.S. and Canada with more tariffs looming.
The Canadians blinked in the trade war with the U.S. after President Trump announced that he was going to suspend all trade talks with our neighbors to the north. They decided to turn off a new tax one day before it was set to come due.
That's Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF, and see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
The U.S. and Iran will not be talking this week like President Trump had suggested last week following the airstrikes that hit Iran's nuclear facilities. As the head of the UN's atomic watchdog suggests, Iran could resume enriching uranium fuel within months.
President Trump on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures said he's certain of how bombing runs on Iran's nuclear sites turned out.
It was obliterated like nobody's ever seen before. And that meant the end to their nuclear ambitions.
But the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, told CBS Face the Nation the sites may be destroyed, but as for the uranium...
Some could have been destroyed as part of the attack, but some could have been moved. So there has to be, at some point, a clarification.
Grossi said that is why inspectors must have access to see what is there and what is not. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
As the Iran-Israel ceasefire keeps holding, another war that's been raging since the October 23 terror attack is back in focus.
For the first time in months, there is hope for a ceasefire agreement that could end the war in Gaza. Overnight, the Israeli Security Cabinet met to discuss a possible deal, and we do know that Ron Dermer, a top advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is in Washington today for high-level talks.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The sex trafficking and racketeering case against rapper and music producer Sean Diddy Combs goes to the jury in federal court in New York City today.
Sean Diddy Combs' fate will be in the hands of 12 men and women, the judge telling jurors he wants them to have fresh minds going into deliberations where they'll have to decide whose side of the story they believe.
That's Fox's CB Cotton. On Wall Street, stock futures rising up more than 200 points for the Dow, more than 100 for the NASDAQ, which had closed at a record high on Friday. NASDAQ up about 6% so far for June. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. News time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. 64 degrees right now under mostly sunny skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is grieving the death of one of their own. According to Sheriff Rob Mishel, deputies were called to Gillette Road in the town of Western around 9:30 Saturday morning for reports of a traumatic injury. Authorities say 27-year-old Tanner Ofalt had been cutting down trees when one fell and struck him. He was taken to Rome Health, but later succumbed to his injuries. Tanner was a dispatcher for the Oneida County Emergency Services. You could read the full story on WIBX950.com. An arrest has been made in connection with the incident at Deerfield Wilderness Park involving a child. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office said they arrested 30-year-old Anthony Getty of Deerfield, saying he subjected a child under the age of 11 to sexual contact at the park earlier this month. The child had been playing at the park. Getty was arrested at his home and was charged with sexual abuse in the first degree, which is a Class D felony, and endangering the welfare of a child. He was held at Oneida County Jail on $15,000 bond. The child was offered an order of protection as well as services from the Child Advocacy Center. 2 firefighters needed to be treated at Wynn Hospital following a fire on Oxford Road in New Hartford. Firefighters said they responded to the residents around 1 p.m. to heavy smoke coming from the building's second floor. Rescuers searched the home and were able to remove 2 cats, but no one else was home at the time. One of the cats was able to be saved. Due to the hot temperatures, several firefighters required evaluation from EMS and 2 were taken to Wynn Hospital. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. U.S. higher education institutions are ranking high among global universities. New ranking from U.S. News & World Report included over 2,000 top global universities, and 13 U.S. institutions landed in the top 20. Those universities include Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Yale, Columbia, and Princeton. Universities from more than 100 countries were reviewed, and factors like the school's international opportunities, student makeup, and research opportunities were considered. And there's a new development in the legal case against the man accused of threatening a U.S. attorney. The attempted murder charge against Saul Morales Garcia has been dropped, and instead he'll face 2 misdemeanors. The change comes after review of the incident involving Morales Garcia and John Sarconi, the third that happened last week on Lodge Street in Albany. Morales Garcia is from El Salvador and is in the country illegally despite being previously deported. He's due back in court later this week. Your WIBX news time is 8:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Thunderstorm chances with us here as we kick off the week, especially as we head on through tonight and tomorrow. Should be a pretty good start to the day. Actually pretty comfortable out there this morning. Sunshine and hot this afternoon, 90. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms developing after midnight, 70. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could be some strong storms, low 80s. Sunshine Wednesday, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajik from the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
64 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Let's take a look at sports. The NBA offseason is heating up with the free agency beginning tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. Some of the top free agents this summer include Miles Turner, Jonathan Kuminga, Al Horford, and Chris Paul. There are moves that have been happening over the past week, and they're shaping the market already. LeBron James exercising his player option, while James Harden and Kyrie Irving are both agreeing to new deals with the Clippers and Mavericks. New contracts cannot be officially signed until the 6th. The Islanders made 8 picks of the 2025 NHL draft. They opened by taking defenseman Matthew Schaefer with the number 1 pick. They also took 5 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goaltender. Meanwhile, the Rangers opened their draft by taking forward Malcolm Spence with the 43rd overall pick. They took 3 forwards and 5 defensemen. The Mets still can't get it together. They were swept by the Pirates, dropping their finale 12-1. Frankie Montas was tagged with the loss after allowing 6 runs on 7 hits and a walk. New York hopes to snap its 3-game skid when it hosts the Milwaukee Brewers for a 3-game set that begins tomorrow night. The Yankees came out on top after blowing out the Athletics 12-5 in their series finale. Aaron Judge went deep with a pair of home runs and now has 30 on the season. New York leads the AL East, and they visit the Toronto Blue Jays for a 4-game set beginning tonight. Aldrich Potgieter is celebrating his first career tour victory after winning the Rocket Classic at the Detroit Golf Club. Potgieter took down Max Grazerman and Chris Kirk in a 5-hole playoff after all 3 players finished tied atop the leaderboard at 22 under par. The 20-year-old is the 7th youngest tour winner since 1983. Defending champion Cam Davis failed to make the cut. Chase Elliott celebrating a NASCAR Cup Series victory at Echo Park Speedway. The driver of the number 9 car, he led a total of 41 laps on the way to victory lane in the Quaker State 400. Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, and Eric Jones rounded out the top 5 in the first round of the inaugural in-season challenge. They now head to Chicago Sunday for the Grant Park 165 for the second race of the in-season challenge. And the WNBA has announced the captains for this year's All-Star Game. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark and Minnesota Lynx forward Nafisa Collier are the 2 top vote getters in fan voting. Clark led all players with over 1.2 million votes, while Collier received 1.1 million. The other 8 starters will be announced tonight. Team Clark will take on Team Collier in Indianapolis on July 19th. And if anybody is curious, I am Team Collier because she is a former Yukon Husky. Go Huskies. 8:11, 65 degrees under sunny skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, coming up this hour, we'll speak some more with Jeff Manaski, who's in studio, umpire extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Right? Ryan Parent is the official head coach of the Utica Comets. Ryan Schmel's on this hour and a bunch more to get to. Stand by. It's the final day of June. Man, we're going to be flying through July. Before you know it, we'll be talking about the State Fair. Although I think that was happening back in April.
What do you mean? That we were talking about it?
Yeah, I think Andrew was going through Actually, it might have been September of last year, talking about who is going to be this year performing at the State Fair. But man, the summer just, it flies very quickly. Before you know it, we'll be right back into fall. It is Monday, June 30th. Stand by. We'll come right back at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440. And they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Celebrate America's birthday this 4th of July with Fox News Radio as we pay tribute to great Americans. Fox News Radio hosts Brian Kilmeade, Guy Benson, Jimmy Fallon, and Johnny Joey Jones speak with American heroes doing what they can to help others and make this country great. Join us this 4th of July for Great Americans, a Fox News Radio special honoring some of the best among us.
Catch the show Friday, July 4th at 6 a.m. only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Actually, before you know it, I'm going to ask you, we'll be talking about hockey season.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about hockey and NBA. NHL, AHL, NBA. It ends in June, and you get a little time off, and they're right back at it.
Yeah. It seems that the season, they get off to a bit of a slower start where it's spaced out a bit, but they do begin awfully early. And with you talking about before we know it, it's going to be fall.
I don't want to be talking about that. I'm just saying
will return before you know it.
Savor the moment while you can, because it doesn't last long.
We've had a great summer, haven't we?
Oh, it's been beautiful. So I have a crazy story for you. A Florida man was arrested for allegedly driving 115 miles an hour. Now, when I can see that. I'm not bothered by that. It's a highway, yeah. Okay. The problem you have, though, going that fast is if somebody decides to change lanes or something, and they won't see you because you're coming up on them so fast.
Right.
They think you're far away when they look in their mirror.
Right.
And that 115 you're going to be on them very quickly. Anyway, the Florida man driving 115 miles an hour, here's where it gets ugly, with a 10-month-old in the back seat.
Oh, boy.
And while he was taping a Snapchat video.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Idiot. Here are the people apparently reacting to the news of the arrest, by the way.
I drive pretty fast myself, Everybody does. Everybody goes, but 110, especially endangering somebody else's life, I think that is outrageous.
If there's other people, then it's like your responsibility. So you're taking their lives into your hands.
I've seen people fly past me at 110. There's no way nobody's surviving that, especially a little kid. The bones are real fragile and they're little.
Nothing good vibes about it. That's insane. That is, child endangerment to the max.
Yeah, I think he's probably in a little trouble.
Yeah, he should be. But I agree with what one of the guys said in that audio clip there, that it's worse with the fact that a child was in the vehicle, and he said you're endangering somebody else's life. Where I disagree is that anytime you're going 110 miles an hour, you are endangering someone else's life. Any other vehicles on the road. To me, it is worse with a small child in that vehicle.
Part of the problem is that the vehicles drive so well today, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you have something new, you're driving down the road and you're doing 100 miles an hour, and you don't even know it. Now, I wouldn't know it unless there was a woman sitting next to me who was my wife. And that way, I completely know. You just don't, you get yelled at. So you don't drive that fast. The other part is the Waze app is awesome. You ever use the Waze app?
No.
WAZE. That's a good app. That is what most people use. So when you're on the thruway, for instance, you'll get a warning, watch out, there's something on the side of the road. Scares the crap out of you. Or police ahead. It's highly used by a lot of people. So you're always getting warnings about speed trap and all that stuff. Anyway, it also shows you exactly how fast you're going. And if you're going over the speed limit, it kind of highlights that a little bit for your wife. Yeah. So I wanted to bring this up. I thought this was a really interesting story that I found over the weekend about people who are younger that are no longer buying cars. And I'm having a hard time finding the story, but I can tell you what it was. I'm pretty sure. So the part of the reason is the insurance costs on cars have gone. We're up like 35% on insurance.
Yeah, mine might even be higher than that. It's insane. Every 6 months it goes up again and again. And this was just 2 years ago. It had like a 25% spike in one cycle.
I don't get it. So the other problem with this is when it comes to repairs. And what is the Elon Musk vehicle that looks like
Tesla.
a box?
Whatever
that is. I mean, looks like some sort of a sci-fi car. Whatever the name of the vehicle
the
is.
Cybertruck?
Yeah.
The Cybertruck, yeah.
So there's a guy that had a Cybertruck, and he ended up in a fender bender with the car in front of him, and he kind of bumped it. Very little damage. They go to get it repaired, and according to state law, based on the amount of money needed to repair it, the vehicle was totaled. It had nothing. There was really very little wrong with it. The problem is the part was going to be about $1,000, but it was going to be $23,000 in labor to fix it because they had to remove the entire bumper and the entire dash to get to the problem.
Wow.
And that is one of the big complaints that people have today with automobiles. And I've seen it in some of our vehicles, my wife's vehicle especially, where to change the headlight on her vehicle, you literally have to remove part of the bumper to change the headlight. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's silly.
So, and
That's really
I
silly.
think what these automakers are doing is it's cheaper to do it that way, and they really don't want you fixing your vehicle. They really want you just to buy another one. That these vehicles are becoming disposable, and that is kind of ridiculous when you're spending 40, 50, who knows what, thousand on your vehicle.
Yeah, and even more than that in some cases.
Yeah.
Vehicles becoming disposable. Look, you cannot replace your vehicle every time you need a new headlight. There's no...
No. And
I can
think that's
understand why young people are trying to get out of this game because it sounds like a scam the way we've outlined it here.
It's like your washer, right? There's no reason to fix it. I mean, it's going to cost you $500 for me to repair it. For $600, you get a brand new one. What are you doing here?
That's why I don't wash clothes anymore.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
That's the way to do it. Just let them blow in the wind. It'll blow the BO right out of it. Here's Jake. Hi, Jake. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I was listening to the attorney there, and if Lanigan is found guilty,
okay,
could they make him step down?
Well, I think I don't know what the city charter, what the rules are in Rome. I would find this. I personally, I think this is going to get blown. This is going to be bad. Probably the video looks bad, mostly because of probably, I would think, the age of Brown. So it's not going to be a good look, I would imagine, when the video comes out. But are we blowing this out of proportion, or is this fair? Is this all justified?
That's a good question.
I mean, because if this happens to the average person, you're probably not going to lose your job. You're probably going to, or am I not looking at this right, Manaski?
No, I understand the point that you're making. I think it's possible that it could cost him his position, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, if it happened again, that's one thing. But, he had an altercation with the former mayor. One thing led to another, you could say, or they got emotional. Emotions ran wild, if you will. I do think it's bad, but I don't necessarily think he's got to step down because of it.
Yeah. And I think there would be an impeachment process of some sort, depending on what the rules are in the city of Rome. And I really don't know what they are.
Bill, I don't know him from Adam, but when he was this is only my opinion, okay?
Okay.
When he was running up against Jackie Izzo, I thought Jackie was really polite. And he seemed like he was a little wise guy. I thought he was a little disrespectful to her.
Well,
and I don't even know her.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is at the end of the day. And the way I look at it is he's the mayor, and actually has been has certainly been complimented for the way that the tornado was handled and some of those other things. So I think I think he has a popularity in Rome, but at the same time, Rome is an interesting city, and you have opposing sides, and it looks like there is an opposing side right now that is moving and asking for his removal. I just don't see that happening.
Wow.
And again, Policelli's not stepping down. I will tell you that, and a lot will. we'll know a lot more, I guess, when the video comes out. And it may very well be most people look at this video. I've talked to people on both sides. I've talked to people who have said, it was, it's not like he beat the guy up, but it was rough. It shouldn't have happened. On the other hand, I've talked to people who said he did nothing. So you're going to be able to judge for yourself when this video comes out. And my assumption is somebody is foiling it, and at some point it will be released.
Jeez, I've never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah.
With a mayor putting his hands on someone. Wow.
Let's see what the video shows. And I feel like, I actually had somebody describe it as he's passionate about the city. He's passionate about the work that he's doing. And so is Brown. And you had two passionate guys at a club after a golf tournament. You fill in the blanks, and, probably everybody had a little something to drink. And sometimes that kind of leads to being yelled at by your wife when you go home. I'm taking just a personal page out of the book, if I could.
Could I say one more thing, and then I'll let you go?
Yes.
I'm 75 years old, and in my lifetime, there's two good mayors that I really like. I like Tim Julian. I thought he did a real good job, and Mike Galimi seems pretty good too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wonder how I have had this brought up. Somebody said to me, I wonder how if the debate between Mike Galimi and Katie Aiello happened in your studio maybe some years ago, and Tim Julian was the mayor at that time. I wonder how that would have went. My answer to that person was probably not exactly the same way it just went. It may have been a little different. Yeah, I would think.
I don't know Tim, but I thought he did a real good job.
Yeah. Listen, Tim was mayor when the first potential resurgence was happening in Utica, and it fizzled. Right now, it really seems to be happening. It really seems to be we're making not just Utica, but Rome and the Valley, the whole region, making a comeback. It seems to be real. So I'm excited about that.
But another thing, and it just popped into my head. Okay, I understand tempers flare. I get that, but being in a position that a mayor's in or senator's in, you gotta have a cool head about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta keep your hands to yourself. This is how I feel.
Okay. All right, Jake. We'll see where we're all. I have a feeling Policelli feels the same way, and he's counting on that. We'll see. We'll see where all of this goes.
All right. Listen. Have a great 4th of July, guys.
We're here through Wednesday, so we will try. Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
bye now.
Jake.
All right, Bill, unfortunately, I've got to hit the road here. So
Okay.
I want to say, everyone, have a great day. Stay cool today. And before I go, happy birthday to John Karwowski today, 22 years old. And try to stay cool.
Is that your son? Oh, okay, that's cool. So
try to stay cool. It's going to be hot on the FedEx truck, and then I got a game. And
we have similarities, by the way, with our kids' path to employment. So it's really pretty cool. So
cool, man.
And we both are in a situation where we cannot help them with their homework.
Mine's only in 4th
It is
grade,
what it
and I
is.
can barely help him.
You can barely help. Let me go to gentlemen. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Ryan Schmelz. Good morning from Fox News Radio. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. Let's talk about Congress getting together to finally. Are we coming to that point where finally the big, beautiful bill will be passed? Maybe by the 4th of July. What are you thinking?
Well. We're close. I mean, we're getting there, and I think the next 24 hours will be vital for that. We're starting the vote-a-rama at 9 o'clock, so in 30 minutes from now, Republicans and Democrats will debate amendments, and they will vote on those amendments, and we'll see if any of them pass and what doesn't doesn't make it in. So this is going to be a very long process that I don't know we're going to get a resolution today, but at some point we will.
Explain what a vote-a-rama is for those that don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. So when you have a big piece of legislation like this, people can offer amendments. Those amendments get debated on, and then they get voted on. And in this case, there's been a significant amount of time that's been set aside for debate and all this. So pretty much Democrats have a number of amendments that they want to bring forward. They're going to try to get them through, and they will have a vote on them. So it's going to be a long process.
Okay, and how united at this point, because I don't think that they're quite there, but they're further ahead than I think we thought they would be, Republicans on this bill.
I mean, they're not there totally, that's for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things they still need to work through, or just people have to suck it up and bite the bullet on this and accept the bill for how it is. Now, whether or not they're going to be willing to do that or not, we don't know. But, they were able to get these people on board this week I guess over the weekend to get through the debate phase and the motion to proceed. So motion to proceed obviously is not the final bill. So we'll see what happens.
And then at the end of the day, once the bill is in place, it is, leading up to the midterms, it's really going to be how does this all play out? What was passed? How does it play out? And who gets to be the winner in the popularity contest, I guess, as we head into the midterms?
Yeah, I mean, Rob, there certainly is going to be a messaging game, and Democrats are already, firing off and going after this Medicaid issue, and they're going to try to paint every single Republican who votes for this bill as a Republican who has cut Medicaid. So that's why I think it's so important for the SALT members, especially in the election cycle, to get this thing passed with a good SALT bill, because they can at least say that they voted for, an increase to the SALT cap. Because this is going to be a tough vote for them no matter what with the Medicaid provisions there. They're going to need something to kind of take back to New York and say, well, look what we got out of this.
So a big day on the way for you. A lot of stuff to do.
A little bit. I mean, my day, they're still going. So we're going to figure all that out.
Ryan Schmelz, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Update on our news coming right up at WIBX.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and servicing Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 2 firefighters needed to be treated at Wynn Hospital following a fire on Oxford Road in New Hartford. Firefighters said they responded to the residents after 1 o'clock to heavy smoke coming from the building's second floor. Rescuers searched the home and were able to remove 2 cats. No one else was home at the time. One of the cats was able to be saved. Due to the hot temperatures, several firefighters required evaluation from EMS, and 2 were taken to Wynn Hospital. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Syracuse police are asking the public for help as they try to solve a double stabbing. Officers were called to Gifford Street Saturday night and were told a 29-year-old man had arrived at Upstate University Hospital with wounds to his arm and abdomen. A short time later, a woman showed up at the hospital needing treatment for a thigh injury. Both victims are expected to survive, and anyone with information is urged to come forward. A Utica man was arrested on felony drug charges, according to Utica police. With the assistance of the Warrants Unit, Special Investigations Unit, and Patrol Unit, authorities conducted a search of a home at 1315 Oswego Street for alleged drug dealing. Police said they seized felony amounts of cocaine and almost $3,000 in cash. Police arrested 43-year-old Jorge Lopez and charged him with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd and 7th degree and criminal use of drug paraphernalia in the 2nd degree. The FDA is requiring 2 common COVID-19 vaccines to update their warning labels. New information on 2 rare heart side effects, inflammation of the heart muscle and inflammation of the thin sac surrounding the heart, will need to be included on the labels. The updated warnings will now feature information on how the conditions have been seen, most commonly among boys aged 12 and older and young men as old as 24. According to the CDC, a small number of people have experienced the side effects after receiving the mRNA COVID-19 shot. And a woman is recovering after she was bitten by a shark on Long Island. Authorities say the 20-year-old was waist deep in the water at Jones Beach Wednesday afternoon when she was bitten on the left foot and leg. She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. ABC7 reports the incident, which temporarily closed down the beach, most likely involved a juvenile sand tiger shark. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Thunderstorm chances with us here as we kick off the week, especially as we head on through tonight and tomorrow. Should be a pretty good start to the day. Actually pretty comfortable out there this morning. Sunshine and hot this afternoon, 90. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms developing after midnight, 70. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could be some strong storms, low 80s. Sunshine Wednesday, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we are currently at 67 degrees with plenty of sunshine out there and a hot day as we're heading to 90 degrees today on this last day of June. Revive softwave therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico, an FDA-cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation of all joint issues that you might have. If you're having pain, this can help. Revive softwave therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico. It increases blood supply, modulates inflammation, stimulates and activates stem cells, and repairs and generates tissue, all done naturally. And it is sparked by the Revive Softwave Therapy. Call today and ask about their $99 new patient special, 315-725-8427 for Revive Softwave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico. 315-725-8427.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Come to Seneca and Valley for the best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. Their 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
Start your summer off right at Seneca Wine and Liquor and Valley Wine and Liquor. Stock up on your favorite wines and champagnes with our fantastic 20% off wine case sale. Mix and match your favorites to create your perfect wine case selection. Whether you're hosting a barbecue, relaxing poolside, enjoying a day at the lake, or planning a cozy evening at home, we've got you covered. Hurry, 20% off wine cases is available now through July 30th. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford or Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. Voted #1 8 years in a row.
We're one big family, 2 great stores, ready to save you more.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Life's unpredictable and full of unknowns, but your vehicle shouldn't be. No one wants to face an unexpected repair that could derail their plans and budget. That's why we're introducing CarShield, the ultimate way to future-proof your ride. We're not just about fixing problems, we're about preventing financial surprises. You can get a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan designed to save you from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine driving with complete peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver. Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need coverage. Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. Future-proof your ride. Call CarShield now. 800-923-6829. 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. And they're accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new family doctor, or you maybe are looking for a second opinion, or there's that procedure I do monthly where it's kind of like something you get with a chiropractor, but it's much more involved. Everything from your back and your neck to the way you're walking to your sinuses, and just making sure your body is flowing the way that it is supposed to, which gives you a, quote, leg up on the situation. It really kind of sets you up for the month to avoid the pain, eliminate those aches and pains that you end up dealing with. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and others, all under one roof. Even if you need acupuncture, they have you covered at the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Call today, accepting new patients right now, 315-507-4751. It is the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
A lot of comments, Davey. A lot of comments this morning. Okay, I got we would be really messed up if we hadn't heard from Lance and Lee. What does he say? So Jeff isn't allowed to speak on the WWE situation between the mayors, which he did speak about it. He spoke about it the other day as well, and we had Policelli on today. So Lance, I don't know where you're going. Does Pisani dictate what can be discussed on your show? And I also don't know what Pisani has to do with us. Before he was elected, you didn't mind using any dirt you had to discuss about the current mayor. Odd how that works. I will tell you that during the campaign, we didn't talk about a lot of dirt about Lanigan, and I did represent Jackie Izza during the campaign. But I think since then, and especially since the tornado, we have a good relationship with the mayor. I don't think this is a good situation. I've said I don't think it's a good situation, and which is why we brought on Policelli this morning to discuss it. So there's really not anything here on my part of this, Lance, although maybe you feel there is. Clearly you do. Kevin in Utica, in my years commuting to Nassau County, I drove 90-plus miles an hour frequently. My theory was for every 2 hours I drove 90, I got an hour, 60 miles for free. And yeah, I mean, you're certainly gaining time. Hey, Keeler, can you tell Dan Corbett this? That was from last week, and I don't have him on right now, so can't do that. Gen Z increasingly listening to peers over doctors for health advice. What does this all mean? I have on the line right now Christa Haberstock is the founder of C Agency and the author of several books. Good morning, Christa.
Good morning. Is your name Bill? Because that is my husband's name, so we're going to be best friends, I think.
Oh, there we go. It is Bill. Wow.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Well, I'm so glad to talk to you this morning. Yes, no, I know it's a crazy, crazy time when Gen Z is looking to TikTok for their dental and doctor advice, right?
So I find it's the worst thing you could do, right? I mean, this is where all the anti-vaccine stuff is coming from. This is where they're using TikTok to, I don't know, inject bleach into their bodies to get rid of an infection. I mean, where are we going here with this?
You know, I don't know what generation you are. I'm Gen X, and Gen X and up, we kind of inherently just trusted the authorities, didn't we? We just kind of like, there's credentials on the wall, they're wearing a white coat or a uniform, so let's trust them. But I just think that, you know, and I'm not going to fault the generations, they're all different, but Gen Z has been through it. They've been through it with, you know, conflicting information. Just, you know, to your point, it's like pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. Who are we listening to? And they're turning to TikTok, and they're turning to influencers, and they're turning, more than that, they're crowdsourcing each other. You know, they're just looking. My daughter just planned a wedding. We pulled it off last weekend, didn't consult one expert. She got all her information from reviews, from Pinterest, from TikTok. It was spectacular. But I don't know that the experts really, I think it's a branding issue, if you want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we kind of, obviously we didn't have social media, and that is probably the big difference in all of this. But, you know, there were still magazines, there was TV that influenced people, but you're right, it is, but obviously throwing a wedding versus how you're going to handle your health crisis are two different things.
Right. Yeah, it is. There's an aesthetic thing, then there's an anesthetic thing, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of different things. No, and I really think it has to do everything. I live and die on the branding hill. You know, like, I think everyone has an obvious advantage, and it's not what you think it is. Like, a doctor used to be their obvious advantage for us. We would go into their office. They would have their degrees on the wall. We would inherently trust them because that's what you did. It was the Hippocratic Oath. It was the do no harm. But I kind of think everybody, including doctors, have to get back to this. You know, it's individuals over institutions. It's rehumanizing leadership. It's rehumanizing the, you know, credibility and the experts, and getting down to, it's not who you are, but it's who a 6-year-old would describe you to be. So, you know, the do no harm, but then the 6-year-old is like, they make me feel better when I'm sick. That's all anybody wants at the baseline. And so to embrace that a little more, and I do think, you know, obviously social media is not going to go away. We know way too much about everybody and everything. It's way too much information overload for all of us.
You know, I don't think it's wrong to question your doctor, right? You get especially if it's a serious issue and you go for a second or even a third opinion. I think you need to do that. But this, it seems like today, and I'm not sure that it's just Gen Z. It seems to be women and men on Facebook as well, where you're questioning. You know, the belief is they're lying to us. All of this time they've been lying to us. This is really bad for us, and it's not good for us, so don't do it. I feel like a lot of people are falling into this trap.
But again, I don't know that it's any fault of anybody's, because we have too much information. We know more about our celebrities and our everybody than anybody should ever know about a single person. And so the same thing about authority. I think we've all kind of developed a sixth sense for the authentic, but most particularly Gen Z. And they're going to turn, like, I ask my 16-year-old, you know, when he talks about politics, talks about anything, I go, So tell me more about that. And I can always tell where he got it from by how he tells me, because I'm like, oh, that's your algorithm.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
I know exactly. So the uniform used to be a trust signal, but it's now a bit of a disconnection. And I think the new white coat syndrome is just a bit of distrust. I think that's all it is. And they just need to rebrand. I really think doctors need to get back to the basics of branding.
So they got a brand. They gotta have a TikTok channel, and before you know it, there'll be people will be following their advice and taking the pills just like they swallow Tide Pods. What your book is called? The Obvious Advantage. What is quick plug on the book, which is not out quite yet, right? It's coming out soon.
Not out quite yet. Yeah, I'm digging deep on this topic, and I just love it. It has to do with personal and professional branding, but it also has to do with, there is a mental health crisis, because I feel like people are really struggling with who they are at their core and identity and their purpose. And it's not a soft topic. It's, we each have something that is buried deep that is we're really, really on the planet to do. And that's what our obvious advantage is.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. We appreciate it, Christa. Christa Haberstock. It's Christa if you're searching for the book when it comes out, The Obvious Advantage. We appreciate your time. Have a great day and a great holiday.
You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. She thinks I'm the best. Huh? Pretty good. Quick break, and we'll wrap it up here for Monday morning coming up.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medishare that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medishare is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medishare is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medishare isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus on supporting other people.
Medishare is affordable.
Medishare is biblical.
Medishare is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 1 free.
Wait, Scott, what did you say?
Jill, it's the buy 2, get 1 free sale, our best sale of the year.
But Scott, it's summer. That's the offer we make in the winter.
Right. Oh, I guess that one's on me because I just told the team that this year's Independence sale is buy 2 windows, get 1 free.
So that means customers can buy 4 windows and get 2 free, or 6 windows and get 3 free?
Exactly. There's no end to the savings. And it's easy to take advantage of this offer. Just stop by the New York Sash Idea and Design Center this week. Browse our selection and save.
But it's for a limited time, right, Scott?
That's right. Stop in or call this week, and you'll lock in our most popular offer of the year. Buy 2 windows, get 1 free during the Independence sale at New York Sash.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. And as always, let our family take care of your family.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom, but a little over a year ago, we realized she couldn't take care of herself without our help. And well, how could I not be there for her? I had no idea how hard it would be, and just what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and, even for me, ways to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics that got me started, but also information about the hurdles I was facing in this new role. I could even connect with experts and hear from others who had been in my place. I know this road we're on isn't an easy one, but I'm really happy to have the extra help for her and for me.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. This message is brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time for Still Alive and Kicking with Clifford Crandall.
Today's suggestion is skeet shooting. I have been a range shooter since I was on my high school rifle team in the 60s. but it wasn't until 6 years ago that I started skeet shooting. If you respect guns and enjoy the sport and have not tried skeet shooting, you should. There are a number of places you can go, and the people are conscientious about safety and create a good, friendly atmosphere. It is truly different from range shooting with pistols and rifles. You need to be relaxed. Each target has a different lead, which keeps you on your toes. My wife and I go once a week in the spring and in the summer, which is enough commitment to grow in the sport. It won't come easy, but the personal achievement you will develop in skeet shooting is worth the patience. For more activities, go to stillaliveandkicking.org.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Portions of the program brought to you by River Hills Properties, the fastest growing real estate company in Central New York. Of course, you are taken care of here in the Adirondacks and the North Country, and they now have an office in Florida, in the Sarasota region, the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida. River Hills Properties, offices in Barneville, Little Falls, Copenhagen, in Newport, and yes, Sarasota, Florida, Naples and Marco Island. It is a beautiful part of the country. Maybe you're thinking about becoming one of those snowbirds where you keep a place here. You don't get rid of your house here, but you know, in those winter cold months, you might consider living in Florida. Reach River Hills Properties. They can take care of you here and down there. Call 315-896-1009. If you're looking for concrete work, foundation repair, stone walls, block walls, any masonry work, Brank Construction has you covered. 315-894-3481. Stairs and cellarway entrances, basement floors, garage floors, a retaining wall. It's Brank Construction. 315-894-3481. And it's going to be hot today. The official coffee of this program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Try their Double X 32-ounce iced coffee. You can get a pistachio version of it. They have pistachio muffins, pistachio lattes, and, of course, that drive-thru is lightning fast. And that enormous iced coffee to keep you cool on a day where we're going up to 80-plus degrees. 90 degrees, actually, today. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. I wanted to leave you with one here, Davey, that I thought was interesting. You know they're having, this weekend, Davey, Yankees and Mets.
Yeah, at Citi Field.
How do you feel about this? The Mets are, like, upside down right now. Yankees have been struggling, too, not hitting the ball really well.
Well, their bats woke up yesterday, and Saturday they didn't fare well. They got shut out, but Judge hit 2 home runs.
Okay.
You are right. The bats have to wake up. Hopefully we are getting the Mets at the right time.
Well, it certainly seems that way, right? Or do you get them after they, maybe this week they snap out of this?
Well, they're playing.
They gave up 30 runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to Pittsburgh.
And they're playing a very, very hot Milwaukee Brewers team right now.
Yeah. Listen, we'll continue. We're here both tomorrow and Wednesday. Kilmeade is coming up next. The news is next on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
They call it a voter-rama. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it's about to start now at the Senate, considering final amendments to President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill.
The major element of this bill is to prevent a massive automatic tax increase of about $4 trillion.
That's Republican Senator Ron Johnson. The tax cuts that were set in 2017 are set to expire at the end of the year, and the senator also tells Fox they need Medicaid work requirements and other reforms to the program to end what he calls
legalized fraud from the federal government. We can't afford it, and it is putting at risk Medicaid for children. children, disabled children, vulnerable people.
Democrats insist Medicaid reforms and other changes will cause millions to lose health coverage and food assistance. And GOP Senator Tom Tillis agrees, also opposing the bill.
This bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made.
Now, the president calls Tillis a complainer, not a doer, and after he threatened to help primary the senator out of office next year,